6:06 with Jim, Deb, and Kevin. It's Friday. It's wedding day for Jim's son, Corbin. I know you might be kind of tired of hearing all of this, but bear with us one more day. Deb is over there in her little section of the studio actually doing her hair and I think part of her makeup because she's been up all night working on the cake. We'll get all the details on that in a little bit here, but you're slightly stressed out, but things are great. I've seen the picture.
Well, I mean, it's done now,
beautiful.
but I will say, at one point, I almost threw it in the trash.
All right, we'll get a full story on that in a few moments. Got also Luke Bryan tickets at 7:10 this morning. Your chance to win Luke Bryan tickets, your last chance to win him before he comes to town next Friday. Could get some rain today. Chuck's got the forecast coming up in just a bit.
Well,
partly cloudy now and 66 degrees. Yeah, really. 6:13 with Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Busy day out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today. Practice and qualifying for IndyCar racing, IndyCar and also Indy NXT. The NXT race will happen at 4:30 this afternoon. Then on Saturday, gates open at 7. Xfinity and Cup race practice qualifying starting at 9:35. The Grand Prix, Indy Grand Prix, is at 2, and the Xfinity race is at 5:30. Then on Sunday, we're not done. We've got lots of racing.
Wow.
On Sunday, the gates open at 10. Of course, we've got the 200 at the Brickyard at 2:30. So if you like racing, you came to the right place. You're in the right city.
No kidding. Of course, their slogan, find your seat.
That's exactly right. Yeah, find your seat. Yeah. And if you are a racing fan, welcome to Indianapolis. We'll treat you right.
The country station, 95.5 WFMS. That is Montgomery Gentry, and it's Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Of course, last night I'm in the kitchen, Kevin, and about 9:45. About 9:45, I considered Googling a local bakery and swapping out the cake.
Those who don't know, Deb is making the cake for Jim's son's wedding tonight.
The wedding's this evening.
Deb, I saw the picture. It looks great.
But I showed you the first picture.
It looks great.
No, it did not. I watch, okay, so for those that don't know, I make cupcakes. I was asked to make a wedding cake. It's kind of different. There's a lot more involved. More layers, more tiers, dowels you have to put down in it. So it did not look good. It looked like someone's volcano project in school. and I read that you're supposed to frost the layers frozen. So when I did, it froze my frosting. And so I fixed it as best I could, and we're going with it. Yeah,
it looks great. You'll do just fine. You will not, out of let the bride and groom see it first. You won't post any pictures of it now, but you will later, I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't want to
I think it looks
be disrespectful.
I think it looks great.
Are you just saying that?
No, I'm not saying it at all. Now, I was hoping you'd bring in a sample.
I don't have a sample.
I could taste it. You have to have leftovers of some kind.
Well, I can't just cut a slice.
Scraps.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Anyway, looking forward to it. And for that reason, Deb's a little blurry-eyed today because I think she had maybe 1 hour of sleep. I'm not sure. 7:01 with Jim, Deb, and Kevin, and it's time for my bad joke worth repeating, but I will back away from the joke microphone and turn it over to Deb and let her do it because, Deb's got the bad joke worth repeating.
I came in the other day and I shared a story with you, and that is I was getting some fuel and I walked in to pay for my gasoline at the station just down the road from my house. And every time I go there, there's a man behind the counter, and he always likes to talk and tell a story. And I like that. He's very friendly, and I try to be friendly back. But sometimes you don't have the time.
No.
So this particular day, I was in a big hurry, and I swiped my card. He said, "You want a receipt?" I said, "No, I'm good."
Too long of a story. Get to the joke.
I go to turn, and what does he say? Hey, I got a call the other day. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It's story time. And he said, I got a call the other day from a Russian hacker. And I said, oh, that's not good. And he said, and the guy told me that he knew all my usernames and all my passwords.
Oh, no.
And then he said, so I told him, hang on a second, let me get a piece of paper so I can write that down. And I left.
Wow.
But I thought of you instantly because I thought that was Kevin Freeman humor.
It's proof that telling bad jokes on the radio is not as easy as it sounds.
Hey, I didn't ask to do it. You made me do it.
That's Chris Lane. It's 7:39 with Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Jim comes back on Monday. Full house on Monday then.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. So Deb told me last night, she called me or texted me and said, did you hear the Lunchables are adding fresh fruit to their snack packs?
Yeah, normally they don't have the fruit in there.
I don't think that's a good idea. It's just going to get traded or thrown away. Not even traded, thrown away at school lunches.
People like fruit. I mean, it's especially if you're on a diet or whatever, it's a sweet
I'm thinking
factor.
Kids.
Okay. Well,
I'm thinking the kids.
What about like little mandarin oranges? Kids love those things. So Kevin's not a fan of adding fruit to a Lunchable.
I just think it'll be wasted.
Okay.
I think, but it made me think, Did you ever take your lunch to school?
Very rarely. A couple of times I did, and I would throw my retainer away with my lunch. And then we had recess right after, so I'd have to spend recess going through the dumpster. And
Imagine that. You throwing something away and losing it.
I lost something. So I would just start buying it at school. But I was a big fan of school lunch.
We never took I never took my lunch. I always bought my lunch that I can remember at least.
Yeah.
And I was you always make fun of school lunches. I liked them.
I did
but
too.
I like everything. Look at me. I'm not real picky. What was your favorite?
Pizza? The rectangular?
I like the pizza. Yeah, the rectangular pizza. What'd you say about...
Salisbury steak was my favorite, one of my favorites. And then if you surely you had the spaghetti. They always served spaghetti every Thursday. I even remember what day. And they served it with the hardest garlic toast. It was like a piece of bread, basically.
Stale bread.
But they would stick a really good fudgy brownie right on top of it. So when you pulled the brownie off, you could see the indentation in the toast. Why do I remember all of this?
So you were looking forward to spaghetti day just for the brownie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And chicken and noodle day with their mashed potatoes. That was a good school lunch.
What were you telling me about Wilson's?
Wilson's Farmers Market. We talked about Wilson's not too long ago because they have to move. They sell school lunch pizza in the same rectangular shape that you used to get it in at school.
Really?
And I haven't gotten it there yet. I've seen it on their Facebook page. I need to go by and get some.
We'll have to do a show next week about school lunches. Because, again, I think they get a bad rap. I think lunches are pretty good.
I haven't had a school lunch in years,
should
so I don't
go.
know. Maybe it's not the same. Would we be allowed?
I can make arrangements in Warren.
I have a feeling
I've got some connections in Warren Township.
You're banned from the school. I would imagine.
If I could get us in, would you go?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, I'll work on that. Jim, Deb, and Kevin go eat school lunches all next week.
Go on Spaghetti Day?
Well, whatever day it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I know they do a lot of salads and stuff, too, which...
No thanks. That's Jelly Roll, 95.5 WFMS. It's Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Thanks for listening, and it is time for Deb's Daily Dirt. And we told you if you're having trouble limiting your kids' screen time, you may want to do what Drew Barrymore is doing.
What's that?
I'll tell you here in about 30 seconds.
All right.
But first, the 2023 Emmys were postponed to Monday, January 15th. They usually air in September. Pushed back about 3 months due to the ongoing strikes.
Yes, the writer strikes.
In fact, a host has not even been announced.
Wow.
So they decided, look, we'll just... move it back a few months.
Probably not a comment they want to hear.
But?
I don't care. Is that bad? I mean, I'm...
You're going to say you're not watching it in January or
September. I wasn't going to watch it
September.
anywhere. Anyway, yeah.
Got it. Cindy Crawford posted a little bit of what some are calling a racy photo. She posted it on her Instagram page to share a little peek inside her lake life. And she's wearing what are you trying to look? Trying to look at my computer?
Well, I just thought maybe you had a picture.
Get away.
Oh.
She's topless.
Oh.
But it shows her from the back. So you just see her back and her chiseled arms as she's overlooking the lake. I'm sure it wasn't designed to show you nature. I'm sure that's what it was.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Drew Barrymore says she limits her kids' screen time successfully by keeping their iPads in a locked safe. They can't play if they wanted because you can't get to them.
That's something you've struggled with.
I would take something away.
You would hide them or hide it.
Well, I would think I would hide it, but my youngest would always find it when he was younger.
Well, not that one. Did you ever find that one?
Well, that was an
tablet?
iPod Touch. I hid it so well when I went to give it back, I couldn't find it. We still have not found it to this day. I had to replace it, so it kind of backfired.
So anyway, Drew Barrymore locks
her iPads up for the kids in a safe, and they cannot get to it. They do not have the code.
I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and then when they get the allotted time, whether it's an hour and a half or whatever,
go outside and play, kids.
That's
Just
right.
go outside and play. Kenny Chesney's Summertime, May 27, with Jim, Deb, and Kevin. Jim is getting ready for the big wedding tonight. He'll be back on Monday. We'll all be back on Monday. Time for Nash News now. Lauren Elena shared a video of herself getting surprised by her future father-in-law. This is great. If you don't follow her on social media, do, because she's pretty funny. He shows up on her tour bus unannounced, and she knows someone's there. And I think at first she thinks it's her future husband, but it's not. It's her future father-in-law.
Aw, I love
he goes, "It's just me." And she goes, "Oh, no." And she gave him a big hug. It's very cute. There's a video of Lainey Wilson's recent visit to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital in Nashville.
Aww.
She spent time with kids, played some music, and learned about all the work done at the hospital. She said it was the best time I've spent in a long time.
They often go to cheer the kids up, but I think it's just as rewarding for the artist.
Absolutely. So the Country Music Hall of Fame had to switch out their Taylor Swift guitars.
I heard about this.
She wanted to take back the blue koi fish guitar that they have on display. She wanted to take it on one of her tours.
Yeah, and it's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's in the Hall of Fame. And of course, they said, absolutely, you can do that. And she put another one in the display.
Her guitar. I think
it's
can
her
do what she
guitar.
wants.
But we might need to remind her it's not like a library. You just go and keep checking things in and out. But she replaced it with another guitar, so it was all good, obviously. And she owns the guitar, so
Yeah,
she's
you
all
think
alone.
she'd have like 8 of those, you know?
You think?
Yeah.
You think. And don't forget, when you go to the Hall of Fame, check out the Blake Shelton display, because his guitar case has a big WFMS sticker right across the front.
Sure does.
Jordan Davis, Next Thing You Know. What a great song to play as we talk about the fact that Deb and Greg are saying, not goodbye, but temporarily goodbye, sending Hayden, their youngest, off to college this weekend.
See you later.
There you go. And we talked about it yesterday. A lot of you, which I knew this would happen, have called in or messaged Deb, kind of emotionally, virtually put their arms around Deb to say, it'll be okay. Here's Susan.
Hey, Kevin, I just wanted to tell Deb she is definitely not alone. Yeah, my son graduated in 2006, and my husband and I took him off to Ball State, and I cried 2 hours in the car on the way home.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to cry 2 hours, but you know what? I know Sunday is going to be a hard one.
It's tough. It really is. I stayed strong until the very last hug goodbye, and then I started tearing up, and I just had to walk away from him. But it was good. It was good for him. And 4 years later, he moved to Chicago, and I went with him to help him. You know, we packed him up and everything and took him up there. And I stayed for 3 days in his apartment to help him get settled, and came home, and I cried again. Because it's just, and he's my only son. He's our only son. And so it's tough.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Gosh.
Now he's married and got 2 kids of his own, and grown into a wonderful, wonderful man.
Aw. Yeah, I would say I'm enjoying seeing Griffin at his this stage in his life as like a young adult. So I know that they'll come back around. It's just, gosh, it's just hard. You know, I wish it was an easier process.
It is, and you know what? He'll touch base with you. He'll call. My son called all the time just to check in with us and let us know that he was okay, and he knew it was tough on us.
Sure. Well, he has to call. He needs money.
Well, that's true, too.
Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it, Susan.
Thanks for
Thank
calling.
you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day, and good luck.
You'll do just fine, Deb. Again, we got a ton of phone calls, a lot of messages. Deb, if you can, through the tears in your eyes, read some of the messages that people have posted for us.
I cannot believe I've 2 days in a row bawled like a little 5-year-old.
That's okay.
Let's see here. Kathy says, been there with sending the last off to college. I cried every year that I moved one of them into the dorms. Big hugs, Deb, from one mom to another.
Yep.
Gosh. Susan said, this was not a good idea. Susan says, oh, Deb, I'll never forget the day I moved my one and only daughter into her dorm. I kept it together. Her and her boyfriend walked me to my car. I looked in my rearview mirror, and they were walking away. I cried so hard. I got lost leaving Bloomington. Oh, my goodness. Shelly says, hang in there, Deb. We mamas love them forever. Hopefully they always know they can come back home if needed. I can't get through anymore.
That's fine.
I will tell you, yesterday, Hayden said, Mom, do you want to go to lunch? She loves Cane's Chicken, and it's a little bit of a drive. It's in Noblesville. And I wanted to say no because
you couldn't.
I have had no sleep, you know.
Yeah.
And we sleep during the day, and I didn't. I was like, when will I get, another chance?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We went and had lunch, and we had a great time. And he was out with friends last night, and I stayed up. I was making the cake anyway, but I stayed up on the couch until he got home at 1 because I love those moments.
Well, just remember what your sister told you when you sent Griffin off to college. And that was by October.
You'll be fine by October.
You'll be fine.
And she was right.
Yeah.
Because by that time, you need that like 6 to 8 weeks for it to be a new norm.
Yeah.
And then it was like by October, I was totally fine. It's just that 6 to 8 weeks of coming home because Greg's at work. Griffin's at his full-time job.
Right.
So when I get home, Hayden's there and during the day because we get home earlier. So
well,
I'll miss that.
If it's any consolation for you, knowing that there are hundreds of men and women, moms and dads listening right now.
Sure, I know
thousands,
And I
that are going through the
appreciate
exact same thing that you're going through. So emotionally, everybody's got their arms around each other. And we'll get a full report on Monday, how things go.
I mean, I won't be in a fetal position for 6 to 8 weeks. I promise. I'm going to be just fine.
Maybe 5 weeks.
It's just that initial day. I do think I need to start a support group. We can go get margaritas
I
next
think
week.
we should.